This is Land of Havilah, 1 Samuel 5. The Philistines captured the ark in battle. Here's what they did with it. Verse 1. Now the Philistines had taken God's ark, and they brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Comment, they brought it from the army camp in Ebenezer to the city of Ashdod on the coast of the Great Sea. God's ark is in the heart of Philistine country now. Verse 2. The Philistines took God's ark and brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. Comment, Dagon is their god, Judges 16:23. The ark is in Dagon's temple in Ashdod, sitting next to Dagon. By command of Yahweh, the Israelites don't have an image of Yahweh in their temple. Quote, you shall not make a carved image for yourself, any likeness of what is in heaven above or what is in the earth beneath. Deuteronomy 5:8. But the Philistines have a statue of Dagon in Dagon's temple, and they set the ark by Dagon. Verse 3. When the people of Ashdod arose early on the next day, behold, Dagon had fallen on his face to the ground before Yahweh's ark. They took Dagon and set him in his place again. When they arose early on the following morning, behold, Dagon had fallen on his face to the ground before Yahweh's ark, and the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off on the threshold. Only Dagon's torso was intact. Therefore neither the priests of Dagon nor any who come into Dagon's house step on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod to this day. Comment, they can't keep Dagon upright or even intact. His head and hands broke off. No apparent damage to the ark. Verse 6. But Yahweh's hand was heavy on the people of Ashdod, and he destroyed them and struck them with tumors, even Ashdod and its borders. Comment, tumors has also been translated sores, growths on the skin, and hemorrhoids. Verse 7. When the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, the ark of the God of Israel shall not stay with us, for his hand is severe on us and on Dagon our God. They sent therefore and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, what shall we do with the ark of the God of Israel? They answered, let the ark of the God of Israel be carried over to Gath. They carried the ark of the God of Israel there. It was so that after they had carried it there, Yahweh's hand was against the city with a very great confusion, and he struck the men of the city, both small and great, so that tumors broke out on them. Comment, they moved the ark to the city of Gath, another Philistine place. Yahweh struck that city with tumors and added great confusion on top of it. But the Gathites weren't totally confused. They knew they should get rid of the ark also. Verse 10. So they sent God's ark to Ekron. As God's ark came to Ekron, the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought the ark of the God of Israel here to us, to kill us and our people. They sent therefore and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines, and they said, send the ark of the God of Israel away, and let it go down again to its own place, that it not kill us and our people. For there was a deadly confusion throughout all the city. The hand of God was very heavy there. The men who didn't die were struck with the tumors, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. Comment, Ekron is another Philistine city. Yahweh struck that place with tumors and great confusion and added death. Every time they moved the ark, the curse got worse. The ark represents the presence of God, Exodus 25:22. Today, communion represents that presence as well, Luke 22:19. The Philistines couldn't bring the ark among themselves without sickness and death, and it could be the same for us if we take communion without first repenting. 1 Corinthians 11:27-30, quote, therefore whoever eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner shall be guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. But a man must examine himself, and in so doing he is to eat of the bread and drink of the cup. For he who eats and drinks judgment to himself, if he does not judge the body rightly. For this reason many among you are weak and sick, and a number sleep. End quote. So if we approach God, we must first repent. That's the chapter. 1 Samuel 6 is next at landofhavilah.net. 1 Samuel 6. This is the map of 1 Samuel 5. The Philistine army was camped at Ebenezer. After they defeated Israel and captured the ark, they brought it about 31 miles as the crow flies to Ashdod, which is still called Ashdod to this day, then to Gath, approximate location, then to Ekron, well identified here. Now they've decided to, quote, let it go again to its own place. 1 Samuel 6 is next.